Hello, my name is Charles Webster, and this is my presentation on my philosophy of education, which is Essentialism. So to begin, I'm going to introduce myself again. My name is Charles Webster. I'm a server at TGI Fridays. I love to travel. Actually, here's a picture of me this past winter break on a trip to New York. I'm actually hoping to travel to Paris this summer, so I really love to experience new foods and new peoples, and I want to travel a bit more soon. I'm actually a history student here at Cal State Fullerton. I first became interested in history on an 8th grade class field trip to D.C., Washington, D.C., and I've been studying it ever since. I actually received my associate's degree in history from Fullerton College in 2016 and then transferred here the same year. So my plan here is to graduate from Cal State Fullerton next spring with my bachelor's, enroll in the credential program, and then ultimately be teaching middle school or high school history upon completing the program. So what is the role of education in my opinion? The role of education the purpose of education is to prepare learners with the essential knowledge and skills necessary to live well and to become productive and contributing members of society in the world of today. It's pretty much very essentialist as is indicated by that definition. So here is actually a quote by Ted Sizer, who's a leading essentialist philosopher of education. If you want to take a moment to read that, but I'll be moving along. So what is the role of a teacher? I believe the role of a teacher is to be an expert on the content in their respective field. The main job of the teacher is to deliver to their students a collection of the most basic and useful content knowledge and skills in as organized a way as possible. I believe teachers should be the ultimate authorities within the classroom, and they're responsible for keeping their students on task. They should expect the most out of their students each day, and they should keep students on task and engaged throughout the lesson, throughout their time with them, so that way they're better able to learn and retain the material. So what is the role of the student? In my opinion, the role of the student is seemingly simple. It's to listen and to learn. The job of the student is to learn what he or she does not yet know, which is hopefully the specific content and knowledge that I'll be delivering and presenting to them, which has been deemed essential by teachers and administrators to live well in the modern world. So the focus, I believe, should be on the knowledge that students gain in their classroom throughout the school year. So what am I going to be teaching? I'm going to be teaching middle school or high school history, which is part of the core curriculum. I believe that by first providing students with a body of historical knowledge that is reliable, my students will be able to think, solve problems, and develop a much greater sense of tradition and historical perspective, which is tremendously important in my opinion. So my goal for my students is for them to master this set body of knowledge and information that I present to them, so they're able to apply what they've learned in my classroom to the real world, to their understanding of the real world. So whom am I going to be teaching? I'm going to be teaching adolescents. They're an extremely diverse group of youth. They're undergoing many changes, physical, cognitive, and social, and I'm going to have a chance to help them to become the best young adults that they can be during this period of their lives. They are imperfect and in need of guidance. Their brains are not fully developed, but they are much better able to understand more complex ideas and concepts. Their brains are incredibly plastic, almost as plastic as the period of early childhood. So this means they're very curious and innovative, much more so than adults assume about them. So they're a fantastic group to teach. They're on the cusp of adulthood, and they're in the midst of developing their potential. And they come from a variety of backgrounds. It's a large group. Many speak different languages. They're of different races, gender, sexual orientation. Their religions are different, and they have various learning needs that I must meet. So I'm going to be able to influence and positively impact a large group of people. Here's actually a video, let me pause it, that you can watch in my presentation. It basically explains my view of how students best learn, which is from Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, which he believes there's about 8, such as body smart, or kinesthetic, I should say, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and picture smart. So this just means that certain students have certain capacities to learn best under different circumstances. Some might best learn through viewing things, videos, pictures. Some might best learn through communicating with another person, speaking with them, person to person. Or maybe they are very reflective and they're able to just pick up a book and reason through it. They're a lot more within themselves, thinking within themselves. And then some that you need to get them up and moving in order for them to be able to learn better, which is what I'll be using later on in my curriculum and my strategies. So again, I believe that the adolescents, they require a basic understanding of skills and concepts and values taught through traditional subjects like history, which is very essentialist, an essentialist view, before they can begin to learn to use what they know and apply it. So I believe this should occur as they go through it, they progress through the education system, and as they get older. I believe they should be presented with challenging material in the classroom that is neither too easy nor too difficult. And I believe it is the responsibility of the teacher to explicitly show that something's relevant to their lives and key to their success, so that they're far more likely to be open to and engage in learning about the material. So how am I going to teach? I'm going to have a classroom. I believe I should have a classroom that's much more teacher-oriented, in contrast to the romanticists or progressives who are much more child-centered or student-centered. I believe the teacher is responsible for extracting what's most important, what's pertinent, teach it, explain how it's important to the student. The content that's presented should gradually increase in difficulty, become much more detailed and complex as students master the basics. And I plan on emphasizing technology, use of technology, effective class management and discipline, having a readiness, emphasizing a readiness to learn, and employing multiple means of representation, like I mentioned earlier about the multiple intelligences, so that I'm successfully meeting each of my students' various needs, and presenting the material in various ways, whether that be lecturing, speaking so they're listening, or through PowerPoint video presentations so they're able to see it, or getting them up and moving, total physical response. So I'm meeting each of their needs. So the curriculum that I'm going to be teaching, I would prefer a back to basics curriculum. It should entail the accumulated knowledge of our civilization, focus on our traditions, our past, and natural laws. History, it's very important. It should explain the world of today, how it came to be, the roots of the problems we face, how our government works, so they're able to understand how to contribute to its success and preservation. They should learn about different world societies, cultures, peoples, places, how we're all connected, and how these things have changed the course of history and shaped the world of today. I'm going to be doing this, delivering this content primarily through the lecture method, teaching by telling, as one would say. And it's easy to incorporate technology as a tool for instruction when using this method. I can use YouTube videos, audio clips, interactive maps, websites, games, online simulations, so in order to help me and supplement my instruction as I relay information, ideas, and facts, and describe and explain and analyze ideas with them. So I believe I should be the major information provider in the classroom. And then recitation is basically me assessing student comprehension during the lecture, question and answer classroom discussions. I prepare questions beforehand, ask the classroom as a whole to respond to the question that I've asked, just to gauge where are they at. Are they getting the material I'm speaking, that I'm telling them? And assessments. So entry-level assessments, those are the assessments that help to inform me about the range of learners within my classroom. They let me know what they already understand, what they might need help with. So I can maybe, for example, a quick write or questionnaire. So a quick write might be, what do you already know about World War II? And have them write a little bit, and then in a group they can talk about it and then tell me what they know, and then I can gauge what they might need more emphasis on, more help with. And then formative, it helps me to monitor student progress. Examples are like web quests, Kahoot activities, guided notes or questions. So it's not only important for measuring achievement, but it's also important for helping me to make necessary adjustments so I can support them even better. And then summative assessments. These help me to evaluate overall student learning. Examples are like unit exams, essays, culminating projects. So just, again, like this picture shows, a formative assessment would be more like the chef. He's putting some salt and pepper, changing, making some adjustments so the soup is even better. That's what a formative assessment helps to do. And then a summative assessment, that's the final product. That lets me know what do they know about this at the end of the day. After every lesson that we've gone through, what's their overall takeaway from it? So what is my philosophy of education? It's an essentialist view of education, as is indicated by my answers to the preceding questions. Here again is another example of an essentialist philosopher, William Bagley. If you want to take a moment to read that quote, you can. To conclude, I believe it's important for me to really think about how I view the nature of education as I prepare to enter the classroom. I'll have the opportunity to be one of the greatest influences on the lives of my students as they prepare to enter adulthood. So this is really important for me to consider as I have in this assignment. I do believe school might not always be fun, but it is important nevertheless. And what I'm teaching them, the content that I'm teaching them, is valuable and relevant to today's world, especially in history and understanding today's world. And it will help me to ensure that they're ready to overcome the obstacles that they come across in their lives and to be better able to succeed. So thank you again for listening to my presentation. Thank you again.